Welcome to the Heartbreak to Happiness Show with Sara Davison. If you're struggling with a breakup and you feel shocked, angry, betrayed, devastated, or sad and alone, then this podcast is for you. Best-selling author and award-winning host Sara Davison shares how you too can get on with your life to heal, grow, and move from heartbreak to happiness. Here's your host, Sara Davison.
Welcome back to the show. And today, my guest is my dear friend, Michelle Dewsbury, who is an author, a domestic abuse survivor, and also the founder of Unsilenced Voices. Welcome, Michelle, to the show.
Hello, Sarah. Very excited to be back. I'm very excited to be here with you. We were supposed to do this live, but really excited that we still can do it virtually.
Absolutely. So you're joining me today because we are co-hosting the International Abuse Awareness Conference, which is coming up pretty soon, isn't it?
Pretty soon, yeah, definitely. So March 11th, really excited about this. And it's raising awareness for DASH as well.
Yes, we're doing it with the DASH charity, which is the charity that I'm the patron of in the UK, as well as with your charity. Tell us a little bit about Unsilenced Voices, Michelle.
Yeah, so back in 2012, I entered a relationship that turned out to be very abusive. The first time there was a sign of physical violence was about 4 months into the relationship, and I stayed with my abuser for roughly 4 years. And during those 4 years, I endured psychological manipulation, physical violence, sexual abuse, and financial abuse. And when I finally escaped that situation, I sat in front of my computer and just started to document things that happened to me. And when I documented them and read it back to myself, that was my aha moment. I was like, wow, how is this me that I'm reading about? And I knew I had to do something. So in 2016, I wrote and performed a 65-minute solo play about my experience in domestic violence in Hollywood. And people started coming up to me and telling me their stories of abuse. And that's when God put on my heart to do something even bigger. And in 2017, I founded Unsilenced Voices. We operate in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Rwanda, and we're doing a 5-city tour in the United States to bring even more awareness to domestic violence, sexual abuse, and trafficking, and also provide education to the community. So I'm very excited to partner with Sarah and partner with DASH Charity because we need to bring even more awareness to these injustices in order to end these horrible, horrible things that happen to people. So that's me in a nutshell. I wrote my first book in 2019, published that called But I Love Him, working on my second book now called Overcoming Obstacles. And I travel and speak on different stages virtually and live all around the world. I was actually stuck in London for 44 hours, March of 2020, when I was coming back when the pandemic started. I was speaking in Egypt at the Women's Economic Forum. So life has been fun and crazy, and now we get to help thousands and thousands of individuals. So Sarah, thank you for having me again.
Oh my goodness, it's always a pleasure to have you on, Michelle. I mean, your work is amazing, and I really suggest that everybody check out what you do and follow you on Instagram. This conference, we've come together for this on a project. I mean, one, because I love working with you anyway, so it's going to be fun. And two, because we're both very passionate about raising awareness of abuse and all different types of abuse. You know, there's financial abuse, there's physical violence, there's coercive control, emotional control, sexual abuse. There's so many different forms. And this conference really is designed to shine a light and educate and inform and really raise awareness generally across the whole spectrum of abuse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so important for us to know what's going on. A lot of people are uneducated, not for their fault, but they don't know what's happening. And you can't make a change when you don't know what's happening in your own backyard. So it's really important to raise awareness about all these different types of abuses. So we recognize the signs, so we see the red flags, and we're able to, primarily as women, escape those abusive situations. Men also experience abuse, but women are at least twice as likely to experience any type of domestic violence and sexual abuse. So we really need to lock in on our worth, our well-being, what is essential for us to really collaborate, work together as women, and move past some of these abuses that happen to us. So important to raise awareness.
I think post-pandemic, we're seeing a huge rise, and I don't think we've seen it yet. You know, I know that a lot of it during the pandemic was behind closed doors. It really put a lot of pressure on some of those relationships. And I think we're going to see the fallout for years and years to come from the abuse that has been occurring and is now coming to the front. And it's great in some ways that there is more awareness on TV. I know over here in the UK, there's a lot more programs about coercive control, especially emotional abuse, where it's really always been physical violence that's been in the media. Is that something you've seen in the States as well?
Unfortunately, domestic violence and all forms of violence have increased because of the pandemic. I know calls to domestic violence hotlines here in the United States have quadrupled since the pandemic, and I'm assuming that's the same in the UK. I know Australia has increased as well, and human trafficking is also increasing because when people travel, they want to do some of these horrible things, and these perpetrators are finding kids who are lonely. I mean, suicide has gone up among our youth. Drug addiction has gone up among our youth. Depression, mental health disorders. So these are things that we need to be aware of, because our kids are subjugated to a lot of these different types of injustices that happen. And the reason they are is because, you know, the parental at home, because the school closures, they're stuck at home and lonely, and they get on social media. We need to be more aware of what our surroundings are doing to not only ourselves, but the people around us and the kids. So it's really important to bring more awareness, because this affects generations to come. And like you said, Sarah, it's increased since the pandemic. We're not going to see the fallout per se of how bad it's increased until years to come. And that's going to be a big shock for us. We're going to be like, how did that happen? And it's happening right under our noses right now.
And I think it's important to say that this event is for everyone, whether you are a survivor yourself, whether you're currently a victim of abuse, but also if you work with people who have gone through abuse, or who may have been going through abuse or still are, or if you know someone, maybe some of your friends or your family are suffering from this. You know, it is really for everyone to increase awareness. So as you said, Michelle, we can spot the signs. It really is important that we all get educated on how to spot the signs, and also what to do if you see those signs.
Yeah, exactly. Because recognizing the red flags and recognizing those signs can really put an end to this cycle. And that's what this is. It's cyclical. So we have to stop the cycle.
You know, we are looking here at all ends of it. So if you're in it, if you're thinking about leaving, how it impacts divorce, going through that separation process. You know, I often talk about how it's very different going through your average amicable divorce and then divorcing somebody who's hell-bent on annihilating you. It's very different. So I'm going to be talking about that at the conference. But also we're going to be talking about trauma recovery, how you can recover, how you can go on and have a happy life, and maybe even turn that adversity into your strength and even your power moving forward, right?
Yeah, I think that that's very important, because you don't have to stay stuck in your circumstances. What has happened to you in your life doesn't have to define who you are. So I do a lot of coaching, just like Sarah does, and we help people to understand that their situation can then be turned into a movement, a mission, a ministry, a business, a nonprofit, something that benefits the world, because your story matters. And that's something that I definitely want to get across to our audience on March 11th, is that no matter what you've gone through, you matter, your story matters, and your voice matters.
Absolutely, well said. And we have a powerhouse of an international lineup of speakers. I mean, I am so excited by the speakers who have donated their time for free to come along and speak. Just for 20 minutes each, most of them, just for 20 minutes to come on and just give us a little insight, shine a light on their topics. So we have Dr. Karen Williams from Australia, who those of you who follow my podcast will know that she's been a guest several times on here, just like Michelle has. And she specializes in the trauma from clients following going through the family court system. We have the phenomenon that is Richard Grannon. He is the go-to expert on narcissism and abuse. We have Naomi Riches, who is a gold medal Paralympian. She's going to speak as well. I'm so excited. We also have Jane Monckton-Smith, who is a criminologist, homicide specialist and professor of public protection at Gloucestershire University. She's a blue tick on Twitter, so she really knows her stuff, and she's going out there, and actually a lot of the work that she has done defines what the police use now in the UK as well. We have Allison Bourne, the CEO of the Dash charity. She's going to be talking about what Dash do and how people can get involved, and obviously the need for the support there for victims of abuse. We also have Dr. Adrienne Barnett, who is a friend of mine. She is incredible. She is going to be talking about parental alienation and some of the pitfalls there. I'm speaking, as I've already said. We've got the Natalie page. She is from #TheCourtSaid, and she will help you if you are listening and you are navigating the family court system right now. Natalie's got some really good information to help you if you are suffering from abuse whilst you're going through that system. Michelle, what are you going to be talking to us about?
I'll be talking about overcoming challenges and using your experiences to then benefit and help the world. So it's all about recovery, right?
About recovery. I love it. We've also got Rosie Lyons, who is a survivor of abuse and a financial abuse campaigner. She's phenomenal. She's only 27 years old, and she is managing to implement some huge changes for people suffering from financial abuse. I'm super excited that we have Nicole Jacobs, who's the Domestic Abuse Commissioner for England and Wales. She's going to be coming on and actually telling us what policies are coming up that we can look forward to. So some of the actual changes that are actually happening. We have Nicola Sharp-Jeffs, OBE, who is from Surviving Economic Abuse, that phenomenal charity, again, which helps people suffering from economic financial abuse. And then we have Wendy Stevenson. She's one of your close friends, isn't she, Michelle? Tell us what Wendy and also Christine's going to be talking about.
Yeah, Wendy, Christine, and Jamie. So Wendy Stevenson is coming on, and she's going to be talking about how you can really transform your life and your experiences into something better. You know, it's all about mindset and how we perceive things that have happened to us. Jamie Wright is joining us, and Jamie is a domestic abuse survivor. She started as living in a shelter when I met her, and now she is implementing changes in Houston, Texas, in regards to politics and legislation to help domestic abuse. And she sits on 2 boards, Houston Area Women's Center, and she also is a board member for Unsilenced Voices now. So amazing powerhouse woman. And then we also have Christine McKay, who is a very good friend of mine. She is also a domestic abuse survivor. She's a very, very successful businesswoman who teaches women and men how to negotiate. So how to negotiate what it is that you want in life. So powerhouse, awesome speakers coming up for this March 11th event.
Yes, so it's March the 11th, which is Friday. It's Friday, March 11th. So it's coming up soon, guys. So do get your tickets now. They are going fast. It's an online event. You don't need to go anywhere. You can have it on in the background. You can sit glued to your Zoom screen. It's going to be on Zoom. It's a webinar. So click the link that's in the show notes, okay, to get your tickets, or else it's in my Instagram link tree as well in my profile there. So if you're looking for the link, it's also, Michelle has it on her site too. So do get the link, get your tickets. They are only £26 for all of this. So do come along, do join us. We are very excited that all these powerhouse people are coming to speak. It's going to be a phenomenal event. And what are they going to learn, Michelle? What are people going to leave with after the event?
Well, if you're a survivor, then you're going to leave with the courage to be able to move on and really, really transform your life into where you want to go, because you'll be hearing from other survivors who have been able to do the same. If you're part of the education system, if you are part of the community and you want to learn more about what's going on, you're going to gain the knowledge that you need to recognize those signs to help your fellow human being when they are in need. And, you know, it's so important for people of all ages, of all nationality, because domestic abuse and all types of abuse. It doesn't matter your socioeconomic background. This happens to everyone. Statistics are startling. In the world, 1 in 4 women experience domestic abuse. In the US, I know the statistic for rape is 1 in 4 women. I know for children, it's 1 in 4 boys experience sexual defilement. So you'll learn all of these statistics, but you'll also leave with hope, because although we are facing these challenges, when we work together as a community, as humanity, as a human race, as humanity, then we really can change what's happening and change the dynamic of these cycles.
And so well said. I mean, it is a really important life skill to understand these tools, because you don't know when you're going to bump into someone that may need your help, that whose life you might be able to save just because you recognize these signs, and you might be able to help them too. And if you're a survivor, then transforming your life, knowing you're not alone. It isn't your fault. And there are so many things you can do to start feeling happy again and confident. So it's essential. Plus, the added bonus is when you sign up, all the proceeds go to the Dash charity. So everything is going to them, which is really going to help them help people. So you're actually donating to help people who are suffering from domestic abuse as well. Plus, I'm giving you a free copy of my ebook, The Split. So if you are going through a breakup, that's really going to be helpful to give you an added extra to get you through those challenges. So Michelle, thank you so much for joining me as always. What would you like to say to everyone before we go?
So I always like to end with one quote. And if you've ever seen the movie Finding Nemo, Dora always says, just keep swimming. So we like to teach, just keep going, just putting one foot in front of the other, no matter what it is that you've gone through. This doesn't have to define your life. You can always get what you want. So just keep swimming.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me. Remember, if you're listening, go find the link in the show notes to join us on Friday, March the 11th. It's going to start 10 a.m. GMT and go on till around 4 o'clock. Brilliant. So do join us wherever you are in the world. We will be recording the event, so don't worry if you miss it. The important thing, get your ticket, and we will be able to make sure we get you that content. It's going to be a phenomenal event. Come and see all the speakers, and I really look forward to seeing you there, guys. Thanks for listening. That's it for today's episode. I look forward to you joining me next time.
That's it for today's episode of Heartbreak to Happiness. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to win a free ticket to one of Sara's virtual retreats. The retreats are a transformative combination of live webinars with Sara herself, coupled with empowering online video programs designed to help you cope better with your breakup and start feeling happy again. For more details, head on over to heartbreakttohappinesspodcast.com, where you can also get a copy of Sara's free gift. Thank you, and join us again on the next episode for another dose of Heartbreak to Happiness.